is a fundamental dichotomy in this country today between people that believe that government is the answer and people that believe private industry is the answer.
Avant Business Services is the oldest messenger trucking company in New York, and we branched into Connecticut about 10 years ago because we wanted to take advantage of the business growth that we could have in Connecticut. As we are here today, one of the reasons we're meeting is because unfortunately the economy is struggling, so we're struggling. And unfortunately, the Democrat majority in the House and Senate want to make us struggle so much that we may wind up having to move back into New York. If they have their way with their tax proposals, we might have to do that. I've already made many accommodations in our business to try and keep ourselves afloat. We have asked all of our salaried employees to take a 5% salary reduction and a 1-week furlough. What we can do to reduce our rents. We have closed an office in Manhattan so that we don't have the burden of that. We obviously still have to pay the rent, but we don't have to pay all the accessory charges that go. And the new taxes that are being proposed, both the corporate surcharge and the personal surcharge, could cause us to decide to leave the state of Connecticut. We do an enormous amount of business in Massachusetts and Rhode Island, and it would be very easy for us to close that warehouse, just use it as a dead drop zone, and move the employees to either Massachusetts or Rhode Island, where we already have lots of business. Part of the accumulation of taxes, it's not just the corporate surcharge they're proposing, but in this warehouse, every year I have to pay taxes to the city of Stamford for the parking spots that we have out front. We have to pay
cumulative effect. When they talk about it in isolation, just an income tax, or just a surcharge, or just an estate tax, they do not take into consideration that all of the other taxes are being layered, and they did not go away when we instituted the income tax.
Rather than pay the amount of money that would go to a 15% surcharge on your taxes, the money you and your brothers would have to pay for higher taxes, you could take that money and invest it, which would be buying equipment from a Connecticut company and electronic surveillance equipment installed by Connecticut employees.
Fortunately, the leaders in the Democrat side are being disingenuous with that, as unfortunately there have been with many other things. They're talking about sunsetting it. Well, we've been waiting for the real estate transfer tax to be sunset for 6 years.
You're not looking for any handouts. You're not looking for any preferential treatment. Allow you to conduct business.
That's all I want to do.
That's right. That's right.
Let me do what I do.
We need that repeatable.
Unfortunately, a problem that we see all over the state, and this is in our backyard, where business owners are coming to us and explaining to us that they have another option, which is to leave the state. Once they leave the state, our burden gets a little bit bigger for the people and the businesses that are left here. Our task is to convince the supermajority that their policies are really contributing to this and going to push our recovery several years into the future. So if we don't do anything now, we don't act now and stem this and reverse it and become more inviting to businesses to come into our state, then we will not get out of this recession for several years. And any superficial stopgapping with stimulus funds, or none of which are directed towards small business, or the use of the rainy day fund, it's just that superficial. It doesn't do anything. It's just a temporary band-aid. We need to reform the way we work with government businesses here on the government level, and encourage people to come here and retain them. And you only do that through really incentives and reasonable taxation, not looking to fund everything on the backs of small businesses, which, as we heard today, 80 to 90% of the jobs created in Connecticut are from small business.